Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, I am back! My situation got resolved and I am better than ever. Let's get back down to business. One of the things I have always wanted to do in my reviewing career is review all of the series of films in the Tremors series, the beloved cult classic. Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, I'm here today to review for you Tremors. Now, Tremors is a just cult classic monster movie about a small town in Nevada. A population of about 14 people is under attack by creatures under the ground. Now, this film stars Kevin Bacon, Michael Gross, and Reba McEntire, weirdly enough. That was one of the first things I noticed when I watched this film for the first time, is I sat there and went, Reba McEntire? I don't know, you don't expect to see someone like Reba McEntire in a film like Tremors, and she plays this gun-toting, basically doomsday prepper, along with her husband, Burt Gummer. But Kevin Bacon, he's kind of a burnout. He just is a handyman. He just does things around the town. He doesn't really have anything special. And right from the get-go, this film does a really good job of establishing a balance of kind of this comedy cult pulpiness to it with like a bit of a, not necessarily a serious vibe, but it kind of does that Evil Dead 2-ish blend of serious and comedy, and it does it very well, which also is why it lends itself to the rest of its franchise, because they didn't know at the time, obviously, that they were going to make a franchise out of this, but it really kind of is an anomaly. Tremors technically shouldn't work. It's basically a straight-to-DVD monster movie, but they use practical effects, they use comedy really well, and kind of using almost the redneck small town vibe really gives that sense of authenticity to it that you really buy into the world and you really enjoy the characters. Kevin Bacon has these random freak out lines where, for instance, when one of the graboids smashes through a brick wall and they realize they killed it, and he's like, "Fuck you!" That line gets me every time. And in the beginning, when there's a new geology student that they realize is supposed to be a girl, as he's driving his truck off the road out into the wilderness, and he's sitting there and he's like, "You will have nice breasts, blonde hair, and legs that go all the way up." It's just, it's so corny, and I love it, and Kevin Bacon just really kind of hams it up in this film, and it just feels so right for the character, if that makes sense. This movie is just inexplicably bizarre. I don't know why I made this connection. Maybe I'm just crazy, but Burt Gummer, when he's in this first film in particular, he looks a lot like a slightly older version of my friend Duke, who plays Mycroft Holmes in my Holmes University series. I don't know. I see it, and maybe others don't. And Duke, if you take offense to that and you watch this, sorry. It's just something I noticed. But Burt Gummer is just a classic character, also being the Doomsday Prepper. And they really do a fine job of all of these characters are unique and feel real enough. They're cartoon characters, but they feel real and you buy into it because they're all very different. You have the geology student who's kind of the straight arrow, just with a little bit more of a tomboyish, adventurous side. You have Kevin Bacon, where he's sitting there being the over-the-top kind of redneck guy. You've got Burt Gummer, who is the absolute doomsday prepper, John Goodman from 10 Cloverfield Lane type, and his wife is Reba McEntire, so obviously she stands out as Reba McEntire. Everybody is memorable, and it just feels like a fight for survival, and every character you care about enough that you're like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. So when they do cool stuff, you're like, oh, right, I'm really rooting for these characters. There's a scene where Burt Gummer and Reba McEntire are absolutely, or Michael Gross, I keep calling him Burt, he's just Burt Gummer. Come on, guys. But they're fighting a graboid in their kind of doomsday prepper basement area, and the graboid comes through, and Reba McEntire and Burt Gummer are just using all the guns, and they're just mag dumping, and they're just swapping out guns and tossing guns to each other. It's so freaking cool that I dug the hell out of it. The film comes to a climax where the whole town has to work together, and the way that Kevin Bacon chooses to kill the graboid is a legitimately smart idea that I was like, oh, that was a clever way to end it. It didn't just end in an all-out shootout. It ended in a smart way where he remembered how he defeated one of the graboids earlier, and he kind of modifies that strategy as a last-ditch attempt. It's phenomenal. And so all around, this movie is just a classic pulpy adventure story, and it's one of those great escapist films. If you're having a bad day at work, or you're just having a lousy time altogether, you can go throw this film on and you'll have a blast each time. It doesn't get old to me. So I'm going to say, I mean, it's obviously a classic already, so my future classic rating kind of doesn't work for it, but I'm going to say it's absolutely a certified classic. Alright, guys, gals, and everything in between, what do you think of the first Tremors film? Do you like it as much as I do? And again, I'm going to be reviewing all of the Tremors films, including the new one coming out in about a week, Tremors 7 Shrieker Island. So look out for all of that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I got plenty more videos coming to you. Love you guys.